Tonight in the news, America, we are 1 week away from the end of the Obama administration. And this week, President Obama awarded outgoing Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr. the Presidential Medal of Freedom this Thursday afternoon, calling the former longtime Delaware senator the best vice president America ever had, a lion of American history. Obama gave his White House partner the surprise award in an emotional ceremony, initially billed as a farewell. After extolling the job that Biden has done, Obama ended it with an unexpected news that he was giving the vice president the nation's highest civilian honor, with distinction. A distinction previously given only to President Ronald Reagan, Pope John Paul II, and General Colin Powell. In his address, the president said, "To know Joe Biden is to know love without pretense, service without self-regard, and to live life fully." Rich, what do you think?
I mean, that's pretty awesome. You gotta love Joe Biden. I mean, I don't know. We lucked out with Joe Biden as vice president, and I think the role that he filled as vice president was actually very different than a lot of the roles of previous vice presidents. President Obama certainly looked to Joe Biden as a teammate and almost maybe a co-president in a lot of ways. Joe Biden was present for many of the big decisions. He acted as a surrogate for President Obama in a way that was significantly different than a lot of other vice presidents, right?
And I mean, I got a chance to see the ceremony. I got to tell you, the ceremony was very touching. One report says, overcome with tears and completely caught off guard by the award, Biden praised the president as a remarkable man who did remarkable things for this country. He went on to say, this honor is not only well beyond what I deserve, but it's a reflection of the generosity of your spirit. He was talking to President Obama. I don't deserve this, but I know it came from the president's heart. And I mean, it really talks about their relationship that they have. But beyond that, I mean, Joe Biden has left such a mark on American history. If you think about, I mean, people talk about Ted Kennedy and the mark that Ted Kennedy left. And I would argue second to Ted Kennedy when it comes to leaving a mark on all of the social policies and the civil rights policies of, I would say, the past 3 decades. Joe Biden's name is right up there. I mean, you think about the Violence Against Women's Act. You think about the reauthorization of the Civil Rights Act and the reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act. And you think about all the other things that he has done, housing discrimination. I think he was the one who sort of pushed the president on marriage equality. And so I really think that, you know, and I will say this, and I'm very candid, and I think the one thing that Joe Biden didn't do that I think would have really been a hallmark of his career is I would have loved to see him as a 2016 a presidential candidate.
We've talked about this before.
Because I really do think that if he was a presidential candidate, the election probably would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a slam dunk. But, I mean, he was in an unfortunate situation. I mean, this guy has known a lot of personal tragedy, and he was in a situation where he was locked and loaded and ready to run. And then life showed up, and, you know...
Here's the thing. I mean, maybe it's just me. None of us were in the room, but I feel as though those lived more life. I think there was also a lot of pressure from party elites to say, no, Joe, it's Hillary's time. And clearly, that didn't serve us very well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that did not serve us very well. And it'll be interesting to see, as an aside, you know, where Hillary Clinton's political career takes her.
I mean, my hope and prayer is that Hillary's political career is over.
I mean, there have been rumors, and these are just rumors, that potentially, do you know what I'm going to say?
Running for mayor of New York.
Yeah. And
if that happens...
Oh, my God. Can you imagine if she lost again?
I think it's done for her. I mean, but this is not her. This segment's not about her. It's about Joe Biden.
It's about Joe Biden, anyway. But I think the gesture is obviously, you know, a gesture of the relationship that they have between President Obama and Joe Biden.
And I mean, I think here's the thing: the team Obama Biden will be missed. And I don't care what party you belong to. We rarely have ever seen cooperation from a president and a vice president like we've seen in the past 8 years. Maybe we'll see it in the next 4 years between Trump and Pence.
The historic brotherhood of Trump and Pence. Yeah, I mean, President Obama really lucked out with Joe Biden as a vice president. I think
it was and the president also said it was the best political decision he ever made.
Sure, I mean, you're totally right. I mean, in the campaign, Joe Biden was the right pick for a variety of reasons. Picking someone who looked like Joe Biden and with his history and his appeal to, your Rust Belt voters, and, he's a salt of the earth kind of guy, and he's someone that a lot of people respect. But I think what was maybe unintended once President Obama was actually in office was having someone with the level of Capitol Hill expertise and relationships that Joe Biden had.
And one thing that you notice, right? And so I'm one of those people because I get White House press corps stuff. You get to read the president's daily schedule, and every time the president's getting a briefing, like President to Get daily briefing, it always says in it Joe Biden accompanying President to briefing. Like they really were a team.
Right, and that the vice president doesn't have to be privy to
No, the vice president has 2 jobs per the Constitution. He breaks ties in the Senate, and if the president is sick or dies, he becomes the president. That's only 2 jobs.
Only 2 jobs. I mean, yeah.
He does nothing else. Like, he has no real other responsibilities.
And I think President Obama and Joe Biden carved out a relationship where Biden was able to act in a capacity that few vice presidents were able to.
I think you're right.
Right? Like, when Obama sends him to do something, it's not like, oh, this is a photo op that I don't feel like going to. Here, have my stand-in. President Obama would send Joe Biden for meetings that were significant and actually carrying the conscience of the president with it. Right? And he knew that when he was in these situations, Joe Biden was making the right decisions.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And he will sorely be missed. I mean, the fact that now he goes into retirement, even though he is going to University of Pennsylvania,
right,
where he'll be working on the moonshot,
the cancer
to cure
czar.
Cancer. And I think he'll be doing some work around foreign policy, but he will. The big thing is this cancer moonshot, and the hope is that Donald Trump and others will support him, and maybe we'll see it in the next 4 years between Trump and Pence.
The historic brotherhood of Trump and Pence.